Hi everyone, welcome to the Leadership Success Training. I am Mutiat Adebowale, Business and Leadership Success Coach. I help organizational leaders develop their leadership presence and help them own their voice. So, what are you going to be learning in this training today? Before we dive deep into this training today, I'd like you to get your notepad and get your pen because you will have so much value from this training that's going to help you develop your leadership skills and help you build successful teams as well. This is going to overall help the organization, be a lot more innovative and help them increase their revenue and achieve their objective overall. So, how are we doing today? Good. My name is Mutit Adebowale, and I help organizational leaders develop their leadership presence and help them to own their voice so that they can lead with influence and confidence. I work with executive professionals, business leaders who are struggling to achieve their goals and build the teams that they love. I help them through coaching and training, help them build effective strategies to turn their teams into high performing, result driven teams. Okay. So that is if you've never met me before. This training is a part of a 3-part training series, and this is the first part of it, the keys to strengthening the dynamics of your leadership, part 1. Okay, so this is who I am, and it's not always been like this for me. I started out as a broadcaster in the corporate world, in a radio station, working as a broadcaster, newsreader, working on the people who I called my leaders, the managers, the bosses, and I developed a love for leadership from there on, thinking why are some things the way they are, and these actually drove me into reading a lot more about leadership, into questioning leadership really generally throughout years. I've been in corporate for 23 years before actually beginning to coach and train people and doing my consultancy services in leadership and business development. Okay, so I've always, apart from that, I've always not been somebody who does training and talk and speak so much, because as a young person growing up, I was actually bullied into making decisions that I wasn't going to be speaking expressively where other people are, because I was made to feel that it was uncomfortable for some people when I spoke, or the way I spoke for some reasons. When I was as young as the age of 12, I made that decision. And even when I was a newsreader, outside the recording studio, I was never somebody who was able to express herself, just within the studio behind the microphone. That was all I could do. And once that was ended, I couldn't do too much. Okay, and that got me even into my higher institution days, and when I started my real job as a radio broadcaster, and when I moved on into health and social care after 10 years of doing that. So I was actually not that person who was able to speak and express themselves, talk less of being able to train and coach other people. I am the author of the Transformational Leadership book, Manual Why Your Business Needs It, and Discover the Truths, Learn How to Attract Your Ideal Online Clients. These are just 2 of my published books. I've got 2 other published books in my name, which is because as I was growing, the only way I could express myself was through my writing. I've been writing literary works, poetry and stories from the age of 12. I've had them published, well, some of them published, but then because I couldn't really express myself through verbal communication, I did a lot of writing. Well, not because, but I did a lot of writing, and that was one way I was able to express myself until I got into coaching, where I got coached myself to be able to unleash the power within and the voice within, really. And when I now started training other people and speaking in events and coaching other people, coaching professionals, professional female executive workers, and training teams and organizational members, after I had undergo and overcome, the limitations that people had put on me, the limitations that I had decided to put on myself, making that key decision that I wasn't going to be speaking or, be talking where other people are, because it made some people feel uncomfortable. So I had gone through all that stages before actually becoming a speaker and a coach, and finally helping other people transform and bring out the best in them as business leaders and professional leaders as well. So what this training entails is helping you discover and develop your leadership skills, your true potentials as a leader and as somebody who's going to be able to impact and influence other people and inspire them, and help them bring the best out of them. So this training is for you if you're an employer and you have some staff members who work with you to grow your business. If you're an executive manager who oversees and supervises a team of workers and would like to boost performance, strengthen team culture and relationship. If you're a business leader and wants to increase your revenue or improve organizational culture and build formidable teams around the workforce. Or if you are a business owner who wants to grow and scale your business by leveraging the opportunities around outsourcing skills and expertise of external agents, or if you're an individual who has an aspiration to improve your leadership skills for greater professional and personal opportunities that are open to you, or if you're struggling to own your voice in the workplace and gain the recognition that you deserve in your business or in your professional workspace, then you're welcome. This program is for you. Are you worried about the declining results from your team, or you're feeling nervous about your organization's low rate of staff retention, or you are generally just bitten by the low level performance? Or if you're struggling with confidence, your personal confidence, and you find that some team members or some of your colleagues are challenging your authority or making it difficult for you to manage your team, so you are welcome. This is the right place for you to be. If you're not clear on your leadership dynamics and it affects your vision for yourself, for your professional growth, or your organization, or your roles and your capabilities, then you are very much welcome. This is where you should be. So what you will be learning by the end of this training is you will be able to understand the psychology of a successful leader and how you can apply this to your team building efforts. You will be able to know the 4 essential principles of effective people management and how to harness this skill to develop a better relationship with your colleagues and your team members. You will gain insight into your leadership patterns, your belief systems, and the rules, and understand how this influences the results that you get for yourself and your team. You'll understand and define the qualities, your strengths and weaknesses, and know how to make the best use of all of these. And you will discover how to perceive what's going on around you and learn how to polish your interpersonal skills and your communication skills for better team and engagement and improved performance. You will learn the 3 secrets of highly effective leaders and how you can begin to implement these in your life and profession. Remember, you will learn these all there because of the 3 series of this program. So this is part 1 of the program. Okay, so what is leadership? Leadership is like the foundation of a building. And why do we say leadership is like the foundation of a building? This is because the foundation of the building states the outcome of the structure and the durability of the structure you're going to be putting on the foundation. If the foundation is one that is wobbly and shaky and not strong enough, then sooner than later the structure itself will be demolished or will vanish or will fall off. Okay, so something is going to happen where you do not have a solid foundation to build it, and that is why strong leadership is crucial to the development of any organization. So the concept of leadership by itself sounds very simple, but the real story is that being an effective and a true leader is hugely complex. And this complexity gives us, fantastic array of people that we call leaders. That's why anybody and everybody can call themselves a leader. But in actual sense, you see, today's leaders are expected to be agile, they're expected to be flexible, they're expected to be open-minded, charismatic, they're expected to be collaborators, actively, people seeking out different perspectives and breaking down traditional non-functioning barriers in order to achieve exceptional results. Okay, these are the people who meant to be holding leadership roles today. So when we actually have the right leadership model that nurtures such people, then they're able to perform and bring out the best in themselves, not just in themselves, in their organizations and in the world as a whole. You see, over the last 10 years or so, I've been delivering various modes of leadership development, ranging from one-to-one coaching to group coaching, organizational training, and leadership events. And what I have seen over time is the growing importance and relevance of the integrated psychology of leadership. Essentially, the hard leadership skills that people think which are business knowledge, the technical know-how in themselves, they're not strong enough to make a great leader. And this is where people put all of their efforts. It is necessary to get into the values and the beliefs and the psychology of a person to understand why certain behaviors manifest themselves. Remember, being a leader or having people to lead or having people to help develop has got a lot to do with human behavior. And that is why leaders this day need a lot more of understanding of what makes and how the human, works and how they're thinking in order for them to be effective leaders. You see, let's be honest. We see a lot of leaders who are actually managers in the wrong place at the wrong time, usually unsupported, and they're left to their own devices by people who have actually put them to position. So this makes a lot of leaders struggle to achieve the desired results that they're expecting from them. I have worked in the corporate world for over 23 years, and I know that leadership is one of the huge problems affecting individuals personally, affecting professionals, and affecting the growth of the organization as a whole. So the point is this: the modern leader has the modern issues that some of the established leadership theories, do not address. And that is why when we talk leadership, going back into traditional leadership theories do not work all the time in this day and time anymore. Some of them definitely are still very relevant. Although we're not talking leadership theories here, if you do want to read a lot about leadership theories, you can check out my book on the transformational leadership manual, how your business needs it. The transformational leadership manual has a lot on the different leadership traditional theories for leadership that you can read through and see what's best for you as an individual or what's best for you as an organization. So a great leader is like the foundation of a building, as I said, because they cut in deeply with a well-rooted in order to strengthen the core of whatever they stand for. As a leader, you cut into the roots of what you stand for, into the roots of the organization. And when you cut into the roots of the organization, and if you are not firm and steady yourself, then the organization will wobble and fall. There are no doubts about that. So in organizations, leaders are the foundation of the company, and they're expected to have strong grip on the policies and the procedures and the products and the services and the staff and the team members and indeed the customers or the clients. You see, because this is what's going to help the company grow. And the more you are deeply rooted in all of these things, then the better for you, the better for the growth of your organization. If a leader, for example, is expected to deliver certain results, and you're expected to be well rooted, you're expected to know a lot more about the customer, you're expected to know so much about the policies and the clients and the staff members. So who do you think, what sort of person do you think that leader should be? And that is why we have different qualities attached to who a real leader, a true leader should be. Leadership in its actual sense, ideally to me, which is what I have always thought, is that leadership is not a position. Leadership characteristics are such that we should lead our lives. They are the characteristics that we personally, if you want to be a leader or if you're a leader, any individual who wants to be successful, who wants to be outstanding, who wants to lay down some life examples, either for your personal lives or your families or even to an organizational staff or members, then the characteristics that are attached to leadership are ones that every individual must have if you find meaning and purpose in your personal life. So it's not about the position. You do not have to have a position to lead other people for you to be driven by integrity, for example. You do not have to have that position to lead other people in the organization for you to understand honesty and fairness, for example. Okay. So when we say that leaders are expected to have certain qualities and characteristics, yes, for the organizations, but the more they can embody these characteristics as individuals, the better for them to manage leadership roles and to manage people. So leadership characteristics are such that we should have to lead our own personal lives. So if you want to be, for example, a good member of a clan or a family or a community or society, you need to have those traits of somebody who can cohabit peacefully with other people, for example, and that is part of the traits of a leader. So leadership skills are tools that we need to have to be respectable, to be responsible, and to protect our integrity as individuals. So whether you're a senior manager or a junior personnel, a business owner, or an individual who means well for yourself, then you should always aim to develop your leadership skills. So if leadership skills are so important for everyone, how much more for you that have people, you have responsibility over other people. So here are some of the leadership, when we ask what are the characteristics of an effective leader, of a great leader, here are some of the characteristics that will most likely be mentioned. That a great leader should be visionary, they should be integrity driven, focused, hardworking, excellent communicators, they should be empathetic, courageous, responsible, they should have skills for strategic planning, knowledgeable, they should have great decision-making skills, they should be managerial competent, they should have relational skills, great delegation skills, they should be able to empower other people, be effective listener, and much more. But of these skills, and these skills are highly important, but of these skills, one skill to me that stands out, one attribute that stands out to me is the fact that a great leader has to be authentic. Authenticity. So what is authenticity? Authenticity is the state of being real, a state of being genuine, not false or not pretentious or not copied. It is the true state of things, the accurate and the original state of things. So it's amazing how many of us have two sides to our personality. We have a work me, a work you, and you have a home you. So at work, you often try to come across as a certain type of person, whether it's to gain more recognition or to fit in with your managers and your colleagues. You end up changing yourself at work and act that out. So this is especially true in leadership, honestly, where managers often feel pressure as leaders and they feel pressured around them to fit into different personality to match their role. The problem is that by acting the role of a leader, those around you they often feel it, right? And when they feel that, they feel either deceived or they cannot expressively be true to themselves and be true to you, because they can feel the fact that you're not being true in your personal self to them and in the way that you lead. So leaders are usually stunned when their employees don't like them or they don't trust them. But it is because people can feel when we are not authentic, when we are not playing out our real selves. If individuals can only remain authentic in their leadership approach, then you're able to bring out your old self to work whilst being effective, productive, and you're able to authentically and really inspire other people. What authenticity does is that it brings you to being yourself. Hence, it helps you to accept the truth about yourself and being honest about your strengths and weaknesses, which makes it possible for you to be able to embrace other people's characteristics, and it helps you embrace their weaknesses and their strengths. This not only helps you understand their behavior better, it helps you to develop every individual in your team relating to their capabilities and talents. Okay, so as mentioned above, leaders need to be authentic if they want to lead teams that are going to be able to perform, because only in your authenticity can you allow your team members to express themselves in true authenticity as well. And when your team members are truly authentic, then they will be able to be assessed based on who they are. And you have managing people become a lot more easier and effective for you. So basically, when you're authentic, it's easier for you to be empathetic. It's easier for you to accept suggestions from people and ideas from other people, knowing that you cannot always have the answer. It's easier for you to be vulnerable, to show the human side of you, and that you can't always have answers to all questions, and you can't always manage everything and give solutions to every situation. So the the reality of what happens when you're able to be authentic is that you're able to manage natural talent. You being a leader becomes naturally easier and almost effortless because there is nothing you're hiding behind. And it shows the great skills that you have as well as the personality that you have. And understanding human personality is one of the greatest ways to break into them and help them achieve a lot more, right? A lot more for themselves as well as a lot more for the organization. So being an authentic leader helps you to begin to develop the thought and the thinking system of a great leader. Okay, so what is the psychology of great leadership? One of the psychology of great leadership is understanding that they have to be true to themselves. You have to be true to yourself, and being true to yourself, you have to know the realities of the things on ground, and you will be able to manage that. So you have power of self. Being able to understand yourself gives you a great power to manage yourself, right? Because authenticity really breeds self-awareness. And when you are self-aware, then you have all the power that you need within yourself. So, which is why this is one of the greatest assets of a great leader. When you understand your psychology, the way that you think, the way that you do things, then you understand the root causes of how you behave, why you behave the way you behave, and thereby making you understand how other people behave. And this will help you in the reactions that you get when people do things around you, and you'll be able to influence them accordingly. So, which is what leadership is really all about. Leadership is about impact, it's about influence, and it's about getting results. One of the psychology or the thinking of great leader is to understand their role as influencers and be able to model what they want to see in other people. So if you don't understand yourself, how do you want to understand other people? And if you don't understand the people around you, how do you want to manage them effectively? So another thinking, a psychology of great leaders is to understand that you have to kill the voice of mediocre within you. You have to be able to challenge that voice of mediocre around you. You have to be able to ask questions, whether within the environment within which you operate or the voices within your head dictating what and what not to you. So great leaders know that through success, the only way you can get success is to be able to dig deep within you, because real success lies within you and it comes from within. Meaning, true success comes from your gut feelings, your thought system, your perception, the way you see things, your strong beliefs in yourself, your value, your team members, and your no quitting stance. This is where you get your strength from. This is where you're able to manage other people from. You know, the fact that you can be resilient, the fact that you can be perseverance, the fact that you understand what motivation is, the fact that you understand what motivates you and how you can motivate other people, and you have the right mindset to lead other people. So these are the factors that will shape your actions as a leader and influence the results that you get. Great leaders have to be extensively understanding of the concept of motivation. Why are you going to be able to get other people to perform at their peak if you can't motivate them? So for the most part, people's actions are really motivated towards the reward and away from pain. And only when you understand that a lot has to do with what people go through from within them to get them into being motivated and engaged before they're able to perform at their peak. Only then would you be able to manage your people and help them, overcome the hurdles that they're going through and be able to perform at their peak. As a great leader, you must recognize this and you must be able to balance wanting them to perform high and being a resource and a support system for them. And this is one thing that most organizations have, overlooked for many years. You must be able to be a great source of support for your team members, for them to be able to perform at their best. So while people are carrying out their job, they have their challenges as well, which organizations has to factor into things. Unfortunately, most leaders don't really have a firm grasp of motivation, usually because they're not even motivated themselves. So are you truly motivated? Do you really understand what it takes for somebody to be motivated? And do you understand the impact of motivation on yourself and on the team members that you lead? So if you do understand that, then do you know where people are coming from? And do you know what it takes to motivate other people? Great leaders has to have great understanding of human behavior. Why do we have to have great understanding of human behavior? You see, very close to knowing how to motivate your team members and understanding the concept of motivation is understanding human behavior. You may be thinking that as a leader, all you need to do is, understand the business know-how, the technical know-how of the business, having the knowledge of the operatives of your organization or the business within which you work in, and not so much about how people behave. But today's leader has to be wearing so many hats. You have to be able to understand what makes your team members, what makes individual members of your team member, what makes them be at their best. How do they work at their best? What gives them the motivation, the drive to continue to go on? So these skills are more essential now, than ever before, because the world now is highly competitive, and in the commercial world where people and managers have to work and deliver more result with less resources. So that is why you have to be really efficient in managing your people. And in managing your people, you should be able to understand their makeup, their thinking, what makes them tick, what time of the day are they most motivated, what is their usual pattern of doing things and delivering results. All of these things are the core that leaders, effective great leaders, must be willing to understand now to be able to bring out effective team members and to be able to achieve the results that your organization and your team indeed require. Great leaders should show convincing confidence. This is not the same as saying that leaders must have answers to all questions or be 100% sure of everything they're talking about all the time. However, you must be able to demonstrate core firm confidence in the decisions that you make and the actions that you take, because only this can help you convince your team members so that they can give their best shot at delivering the best results that you want. So the success of you being able to show that you're convinced and confident about the decisions that you're making, the more reliable the the answers and the feedback that you get from your team members, because then you are talking with authority, and it's the authority that brings about trust. So your team members are able to trust what you're saying, able to put in their best because they believe that you're confident, they believe that you do understand what you're talking about, and you do understand the results already that you want them to achieve. So with this, with your confidence in convincing your teams, with the decisions you're making and the actions you're taking, you're helping them to become confident in themselves as well. So there is a saying in show business, when I used to be a show business person, that an actor is either dangerous or dead. The thing is, you must be willing to take risk, and you being able to confidently convince them when you're telling them to do things, when you're taking actions, when you're making decisions, shows that you are a leader that is willing to take risk. However, knowing that the risk you're taking are those calculated and planned risks, then you will be able to convince your team member. And the more you're able to do that with success, the more you gain trust with your team members, and the more you gain, the followership, because then they know that you're credible, and you understand what you're doing, and you understand what you're saying, and because you're leading by that example, they are confident to take the actions that you're expecting them to take. Great leaders know the importance of having a social identity. What's social identity? Social identity is something that unifies you and the team, that brings all the team members together. As an effective leader, you must skillfully define and mold your team's identity and goals in ways that fit the policies that you wish to promote, because this is the only way that you as a leader and the team members can nurture the kind of mental states and processes that bind all of you together and drive them towards performing at their peak. So creating a social identity with your group will create a sense of uniformity among all of you working together, including, every facet, every part of your team building. So whatever stage of management or team building that you are, you must be able to build that social identity for your team so that everybody understands what the goals are, they understand what the team stands for. And because they do understand what the team stands for, then in their actions and in their performance and in everything that they're doing, they are acting to show up as belonging to your team, bringing out the identity that you have created for the team. Every leader has to practice value-based leadership. As a great leader, you must practice value-based leadership. Before you can actually practice value-based leadership, really, you must be someone that clearly understands and can define your own values. What are your values? If you understand your personal values, then you will be able, jointly with your team members, create great values for your team. And this is what all of you together will be working towards to achieve. So, even though different groups can define their different interests in different ways, you can all have values that will put you together, and you understand that these are the values that the team will be working on. For example, when you and the team members know that your group or your team stand for things like fairness, for example, then your team members understand that everybody in the team is treated with fairness. When you stand for hard work, for example, everybody in the team, and that is exemplified by you as the leader, then everybody in the team understands that hard work is one of the values that you stand for, and somebody who is not putting in their best in the work that they do will definitely have the consequences. And know that some people are working hard and other people are not working hard, and this is being tolerated within the group, then that means the values of the group are not clearly defined. Okay, so you must be able to define values that everybody will be made to stand by and will be justified by the actions and the things, the activities of all members of the group, including the leader. Okay. And as I said earlier, you personally must have your own values to be able to define great values for the team. A great leader needs to be visionary. Great leaders have huge vision for the team and themselves and the organization as a whole. And you're really, really clear about your vision. You must understand that having your vision is just a conviction of confidence, understanding that you have the goals and you have the objectives that you want to meet, and these should be clearly mapped out so that everybody knows what the end goal is, know where the organization or the team is going, and then they can follow suit with their actions, with their operatives, with the things you're doing. Being a visionary leader actually doesn't become accomplished until you begin to take some steps to show your team members that indeed you want them to achieve this vision. So all of the things, most of the things we've talked about actually will lead to you achieving the vision that you've had for the organization or for the team. So all of these things will have a lot to do with the way you motivate your team members, the way you carry them along, the way you show example to them, the way that you understand the policies and the procedures of the organizations, so your vision can only become accomplished by you following the bigger objectives that you've set, by you following the bigger set lines that you have mapped out. And this is actually shown by your general leadership style that you've adopted, with which you want to lead your team members. Okay. And lastly, a great leader has to have love for growth. As a leader, you know that you're so instrumental in the success or the failure of your organization. So if you do know that, you understand that this is how you're being perceived. Okay, so it is vital that you're prepared to take on board constructive feedback, because this is part of the growth that you will be needing as a leader, and continue to develop your leadership skills and on an ongoing basis. If you are not willing to get feedback from people, then you're not willing to grow. Leadership itself is a journey. As you know, it's just like we are evolving as individuals. It's a journey. And as you evolve in your leadership bit, then you have to evolve in the things that you do, in your practices, in your belief systems, in your outlook, and the way you see things. So in spite of the pressures of everyday business and everyday leadership, there is so much to be gained by remembering that every day indeed is a school for you as a leader. And no one is too senior, no one is too huge to learn and enhance their skills, even you, the leader. So if that's the case, then you should always think beyond the narrow confines of your position, that you are, whether you are a chief executive officer or you're a senior management, you're a director, or whatever senior leadership role you hold, you should be able to look beyond this and understand that every day is a school for you as a leader, and every day you want to get as much knowledge, even with the little things, just by observing how your team members are doing things differently, right? Just by you wanting to know why they think and they behave the way they behave. So these are the little things that you can learn from every day. So being open to learning and gaining more knowledge and having growth within you and growth in your mindset and the way that you do things is a great asset for you as a leader. So you should always think beyond the narrow confines of your position, of your job, or your primary responsibility. And the amazing thing about leadership is how much you get to learn about others, about yourself, and the way the world works generally. So this is such an incredible gift that keeps you growing as a leader and expanding your deep understanding of how to better help other people. Remember, leadership is about impact, is about influence, and is about helping others grow so that you all can get the results that you want to get. So I just think that leaders have this opportunity to apply what you know and understand on the job to improve the lives of other people as well as your life, and in so many other ways in your life. So when you are open to learning and growing, then you are open to improving other people's lives and improving your own life as a person. So that is where I'm going to end the leadership success training, part one of it. So if you do want to go further in developing your leadership skills, watch out for the part two of the leadership success training. And the part two is going to be talking about the principles of effective people management. So, if you want to harness your skills on effective people management, then watch out for the part two of the program. I'm muted at Debawali, and until I see you in the next training, you keep being the best that you can be. You keep being the change that you want to see in other people.